And that's one thing that I can't give these celebrities enough credit for, because oftentimes people who are managing these Facebook and Twitter accounts for these celebrities never keep them updated, and there's a significant amount of time where a website's layout kind of gets old and it's never updated or produced the way that it should be, so they kind of give it to the celebrities now to promote for themselves, and they use Facebook and Twitter, which is obviously the easiest thing for them to manage and keep updated. But even though it's the easiest thing for them to manage and keep updated, they do keep us in the informative loop, because oftentimes people who manage websites and social media accounts for these celebrities never keep them updated, so that's great. And this series, if you have never seen an episode of Sam and Cat, you can check them out on our Facebook and Twitter. And just the other day I threw up a Google video blog for Cheap Shots with Jonathan Clarke, where I elaborated on some thoughts on this series with a lot of novelty still affiliated with it, but I think it's going to have a very profitable few years and a few profitable seasons of this series, just on the success they previously had with iCarly and Victorious. And they've even combined iCarly and Victorious in the past, so they do have experience working with one another on more than one occasion. So that's why I think this show is going to have a very profitable future ahead for it. And the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards this year, it's probably going to take home more than a fair share of awards from the other people who are going to be competing in the same categories for these awards. So don't be surprised if Sam and Cat take home the majority of the awards, kind of like how Victorious started to take home the majority of the awards within the first year of the series premiere, which was back in 2009, 2010. And since its premiere, it had an incredible run for itself to its finale, which took place a couple of months ago. And ever since the finale of Victorious, we've had a lot of questions about the futures of some of these actors and actresses, and I was really upset over the season finale of Victorious, because I thought it was going to have a few more years, at least ahead for it, before it finalized its final episode. But now we can answer the question of at least where Jeanette McCarthy and Ariana Grande have headed. Ariana Grande is having a tremendous amount of success on the Billboard charts, and we have Jeanette McCarthy now joining Ariana Grande after previously working with her on different episodes produced by Nickelodeon for Sam and Cat. So I think now at least one of our questions of the million that we've had since Victorious finished up in its final episode, which left a lot of people emotionally distraught over the futures and uncertainty of their careers. Because one thing that has never been said enough, I think, is that there is no guaranteed success for anyone outside of something they had success with previously. There's no guaranteed success, with that being said, for any of the cast members, actors or actresses for Victorious or iCarly. So it's very uncertain, the futures of these celebrities when they finish up a series they had a tremendous amount of profound success with. But I think that Sam and Cat is headed in a creative direction, which is something that I don't say enough about a lot of shows, because oftentimes some shows aren't headed in a creative direction. One show that comes to mind is Life with Boys, produced by Michael Poise, who produced Hannah Montana a few years ago. He's taken his series into a completely different direction from directions of Hannah Montana and other shows that he's produced. And another example I can use for you is Nickelodeon's How to Rock, which produced in the middle of last year and debuted. That's a series that is very uncertain in terms of direction, but I think in time it's going to get itself out of a rut. But series like Life with Boys and How to Rock seem to be heading nowhere, but at least because they have previous success with series like iCarly and Victorious, this show has somewhat of a creative direction, and that is one huge contributing factor that's what's going to get this show over. Along with that, they have an actress on the show who knows how to sing, and Jeanette McCarthy also has a lot of experience singing as well. So if they ever have a couple of songs premiered on this series as singles for themselves, no doubt it's going to make headlines for Nickelodeon, because they have a tremendous amount of experience from these two actresses, and Nickelodeon couldn't have made a better creative decision with this series. Now, I've kind of put off talking about Sam and Cat. I may have talked about it previously here on the show, but not in enough detail. I want to know what your feedback is on this series, if you've seen any of the episodes. If you're a fan of Sam and Cat who is browsing through YouTube, who may have clicked on this video, let me know what your opinion of this is. What do you see this show headed in the way of a direction? Let me know on our Facebook page at facebook.com/HW Entertainment, on our Twitter at Jonathan Clarke1, and on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Jonathan Clarke22. I know we're going to run into a few critics out there who think that this is another subpar show from Nickelodeon, but you got to give this show the benefit benefit of the doubt and take a look back at their previous success that they've had with shows like iCarly and Victorious and say that this show is going to have a very probable future. There you see the graphic of Sam and Cat on our YouTube channel. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt, which oftentimes I do. I just never give shows enough credit. I think that more shows should be put over in the way of a Wizards of Waverly Place or a Hannah Montana, and if they are put over in the way of a show like, say, iCarly, which had over 6 seasons and something like 80 or 90 episodes produced, if shows were given the benefit of the doubt and produced as many shows as iCarly or Victorious recently produced, I think that shows would have an incredible amount of success and more success than any shows that have had in the past. And the thing is, these shows are not put over enough or promoted enough, and Nickelodeon seemed to have the promotion of Sam and Cat there. They have financed this show an incredible amount, and they are putting it over with advertisement after advertisement after advertisement, trying to make sure that Sam and Cat has just as good of a future ahead for it as iCarly and Victorious. And I will never deny to you that I'm a fan of children's television, because one thing that I've often put over on this radio show, despite giving a lot of shows that I haven't given credit to that I probably should have in the past, one thing that I'll always put over is these are the stars of tomorrow, and you have to give them the benefit of the doubt even though they are affiliated with a lot of criticism. One thing about young celebrities are criticism follows them everywhere they go. Like Demi Lovato just recently performed at the ET Canada New Year's celebration, and her performance was criticized a lot at the New Year's Eve celebrations of the ET Canada. But the thing is, Demi Lovato put over a great deal of work ethic in this performance, and she promoted herself very effectively, joining an incredible cast of celebrities for this New Year's Eve celebration, including Celine Dion. And if you're on the ballot with Celine Dion with a live performance from Vegas, I mean, that says a lot about your career and the position that you're in. To be put on the same show with Celine Dion, who did a live performance from Vegas, says a lot, and I think that guarantees a probable future for Demi Lovato, just as this series demonstrates an incredible future for Sam and Cat, Jeanette McCarthy, and Ariana Grande. If you have not heard Ariana Grande's album, Yours Truly, which premiered at midnight a couple of months ago, a lot of celebrities were offering their congratulations to Ariana Grande for the release of this album. If you have not heard this album or downloaded it off iTunes, make sure you do, because there are an incredible number of singles on this album which a lot of people haven't even heard. Of course, the debut single from Ariana Grande was The Way. From there she goes to releasing a song called Baby It's Cold Outside, which she collaborated with another artist who is very well known. A lot of well-known artists making an appearance on this album, and I think it's worth downloading. So if you haven't checked it out, the name of the album is called Yours Truly, and you can download it off iTunes. It won't cost you that much. Just pick up an iTunes card if you have to, or pay for it through your MasterCard. I mean, it's an awesome, awesome album, and I can't put it over enough. And I think because of the success of this previous album, which has already sold millions of copies in 2014, 2015, we're going to see a release of a follow-up from Ariana Grande, which is probably going to be put over even more. Ariana Grande, in my opinion, is one of the most successful young artists of recency, and in the future, she's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Everyone is proud of Ariana Grande, and I saw some of the Facebook wall posts on her official Facebook page, which of course is at Ariana Grande, and on Twitter at Ariana Grande. She has millions of followers. She's even followed just as much as a Victoria Justice, so that kind of tells you just what kind of position Ariana Grande is in. I saw some of the tweets from some of her fans, some of the celebrities, and some of the Facebook wall posts in contribution to her post on her album, which was released on midnight a couple of weeks ago. A lot of celebrities very supportive over the release of this album, and especially celebrities who made appearances like Big Sean on this album. She has already made it to the top of the Billboard charts with The Way, which was her premier single, which really got this album over an incredible amount. And in the future, she's going to have an incredible amount of success along with this new series, which still has, of course, a lot of novelty attached to it. And along with the singles that have premiered on syndicated radio from Ariana Grande, if you have not seen the music videos for songs like The Way, they are on our Facebook page. I got to recommend those videos for you because she looks outstanding in the visuals of these music videos. I can't put it over enough. So I want to know what your feedback is on Ariana Grande and Jeanette McCarthy putting together this series. Dan Schreider, Dan Rapp, his company, his production agency, have done an incredible job with this show, and on a 5-star scale perspective, you can easily rate this series at least 3 out of 5 stars. You can take 2 stars off for the uncertainty of the future of this series, because who knows, this show might only produce 3 seasons. It could produce up to 7. I don't know. we don't really know what the future is of this series. So with the uncertainty kind of still being affiliated with it, you can easily rate it 3 to 5 stars on a 5-star scale perspective. Should this rating be higher? Let us know. Maybe you're a diehard fan of Janet McCarthy and Ariana Grande. Maybe you're a diehard fan of retro series like iCarly and Victorious. You followed these characters' careers for years, and you think they're going to have a more probable future than what I do, but I think they're going to have tremendous years ahead for them to be witnessed not only by them, but by their fans, and I know I say that a lot. But if you haven't heard any of the singles from Ariana Grande, pick up her album. It's called Yours Truly, and in the first few episodes of Sam and Cat, she has guaranteed herself, in my opinion, a very probable future, speaking from the perspective of a radio host and columnist who has done this show for over 15 years. Off the album Yours Truly, It's the Way. It made it to the top of the Billboard charts in 2013, just last year, and in 2014, look for Baby It's Cold Outside to make it to the top of the Billboard charts just as the previous release from Ariana Grande did. They sung The Way off the album Yours Truly is coming at you when we come back.
When something takes place in the world of professional wrestling, you know where to go. WrestleZone.com. WrestleZone.com. Covering all the latest breaking news daily. Interactive forums where you can chat with thousands of other wrestling fans. Exclusive editorials and audio features by some of today's top wrestling superstars.